Coming up on today's wrestling news, John Cena's final opponent has been revealed.
Santos Escobar is gone from WWE.
Could there be more WWE departures coming soon?
And Paul Walter goes off on WWE.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. So yes, John Cena's final opponent has been revealed by Dave Meltzer, confirming it within multiple sources of WWE. No great surprise this, the right call in my opinion. Gunther is the man, not Kevin Fedline, as I first suggested on social media, that is going to be the final person to face John Cena on the 13th of December episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, of course, coming from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Because they paid the most money for it. Yeah. Meltzer writing multiple sources over the last 2 days who confirmed the name and the WWE internal listing for the Saturday Night's Main Event. That is the only thing listed on that show as of right now. The plan, apparently, is for a tournament to be announced, possibly on air by Triple H, with top wrestlers fighting to be John Cena's last opponent, and Gunther is the one who will emerge victorious. Of course, this is part of John Cena's 5 final dates. There's one this weekend, a Crown Jewel, of course, in Australia. Then we've got a Raw on November 10th from Boston. Obviously, he's going to be at that one.
Yep.
Then a Raw in New York, MSG. Survivor Series, one Sensitive, he's hopefully going to be a part of War Games. And then, of course, that retirement match on December 13th. Love the fact that they've actually gone for Gunther on this one.
Yeah. Obviously, pending the result of the tournament, and if they change their mind along the way, who knows?
Come on, Dirty Dom!
But yeah, this was one of the ones speculated on from all the way back in January, wasn't it? When,
Yeah, I think if you were listing opponents, you'd have mentioned the likes of Punk and Randy Orton probably, but Gunther was one of those ones you'd want to see him face.
Yeah, Gunther was a world heavyweight champion at the time, and even without that belt, I think there's this idea at this point that beating Gunther is seen as a mountain that very few wrestlers can climb. So there'll be a nice element of unpredictability as to whether or not Cena goes out on top or staring at the lights. It's I think you could make a pretty sort of a salient argument for both.
Yeah.
John Cena winning and getting that fond farewell is very much kind of in keeping with how they've wanted to end this John Cena run as opposed to how they started it. And Gunther is immediately recoverable. Like if he was to lose to John Cena, he would rock up on Raw the next week and batter everybody in sight in a blind rage and then say, right, well, I'm winning the Rumble and screw off. Likewise, if he wins, it's that old-fashioned, traditional putting over the next guy on your way out.
Yeah.
You would imagine John Cena, like notoriously a good soldier, some would argue too good, would do on his way out.
Yeah, and looking at the big picture of things, I think Gunther should go over, to be honest, in John
Yeah,
Cena's
I agree,
last
I
match. It's a tradition of that sort of thing. Admittedly, it'd be nice for him to have, I think he should have another singles victory before retiring. Boston, maybe.
Yeah.
MSG, hopefully.
Last night in his hometown, last night in the historic sort of building of WWE,
But, yeah, I hope he puts Gunther over or Gunther defeats him in a really enjoyable match. And looking at big picture, like I said, that would really open the door for, wait a second, the last 2 people to beat John Cena are Gunther and Brock Lesnar. They can then subsequently interact in the Rumble to set up a huge match, however you feel about Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania next year.
And we've got Saturday Night's Main Event, Gunther Law, haven't we? Gunther can beat him, and then we can come back from a commercial break. John Cena can say, thanks very much, guys, and then it can be off the air after like 6 seconds.
I just want to say goodbye.
Thanks very much. So yeah, I mean, that is, I wonder what else will be on that card, because that Goldberg thing, if nothing else, was probably a bit of a pilot of how this one will go. They're not going to want to push this one towards the top of the second hour, are they? Because it is streaming, it is Peacock, it is, based on the Goldberg one and some of the prior Saturday Night's Main Event, fairly time sensitive.
Yes. There's a bit of me that thinks it maybe should be the only thing on the show.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Like, I know traditionally, in terms of viewership, people don't like video packages, but I mean, judging by what they did on last night's Raw for him and AJ Styles, what they did for Cody and Seth Rollins, WWE are sensational at those things. I don't think anyone would deny that. And yeah, retrospective, whether it be like just video packages or even people coming out to the ring and talking about John Cena, Punk, Orton, his legendary opponents over the years. I think that would be a nicer thing, because I think a lot of people have said, it's a bit disappointing that, he hasn't got his own PLE, this sort of thing. So why not? Why not build the big Saturday Night's Main Event around John Cena? At the end of the day, it's the tail of the year. It's traditionally when WWE kind of winds down to ramp back up to kick off the year. Well, this year, I should say, for Raw on Netflix. But, obviously the road to WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, obviously kicking off in January. So why not do that? would anyone really be there if you were buying a ticket and paying $9,000 to sit 5 rows back or whatever it is? I don't know. I suppose that's a point. I'm arguing with myself now, I realise.
Imagine telling Gunther, look, we want you to be the one and only match on this special occasion. John Cena shows like, oh cool, we'll go an hour then. John Cena, excuse me, what?
He just squashes him in 2 minutes. Like, come and have
right, yeah, 1 hour 58 minutes of videos and tributes.
Yeah, that's the point. If you were buying a ticket, regardless of the prices, which we will get to in this news, would you want the whole show to be about John Cena, or would you think, I want my money's worth? I suppose you could do dark matches.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the actual broadcast itself can be about John Cena. I'd be fine with that. I like the ceremony and the nonsense and the BS as much as anything else on a special WWE show. And as you say, like, just tell people to get to the building early for some matches, or tell them to stick around afterwards for matches. Yeah. Like, it's
another John Cena match.
Yeah, it's actually, it's like the Big Show and Drew McIntyre. That's me. John Cena's real last match was when the cameras went out and it was Kane or something. Like, he just went. Just, I don't know. But yeah.
I think it should be a celebration of John Cena.
I think the people paying those prices, and we will get onto that later on, have made like a decision that they are more than comfortable with, regardless of what the outcome is.
It's rare I see eye to eye with Paul Wattenhausen, by the way. After what he did to our boy, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Quickly before we move on to the second story, like a bit of a live production here. Are we talking about your Bulgarian Google searches today or not?
Looks like it.
Okay. NordVPN still available. 76% off, an unbelievable deal. If you want to watch WWE or AEW. Like via UK Netflix, Chips and Beans Netflix. I don't know why I'm doing it in this accent. It's the opposite, if anything.
Yeah.
Or, hypothetically, there are some websites that are simply not available in your country. You can work around them with a VPN. And
what do you mean I need my passport details?
I've only got 5 minutes, and I only take 2. NordVPN, 76% off. All the details in the description to this video below. It's a fantastic deal. It is brilliant. Genuinely.
I use it. You can't tell, but I use NordVPN, and I use this deal. It's 76% off, 3 months free. We occasionally, it's very subtle, you might not notice it, we occasionally, me and Hamlet, when we're together, drop in references to obscure British TV shows.
Yeah.
If you want to know what that's all about, get a VPN and, I don't know, watch iPlayer or something.
What was that one you educated me on yesterday?
Come Outside.
Come Outside. The dog from Wolf actually moved on to Come Outside. So this dog, like Pippin crossed generations.
In the multicoloured plane.
VPN, get that. Look, Stephanie McMahon wasn't wrong. If you want to watch John Cena's last match, it seems like NordVPN is one of the best ways to do it. 76% off. It's one of the best deals on it out there, and you can check all the information in the description below. Somebody you won't be seeing if you use NordVPN to watch WWE is Santos Escobar. Fightful Select have come through with a long report on ultimately the update on the future of Santos Escobar, and the long story short is that he's leaving WWE. There've been a number of posts online that we see from wrestlers when either things aren't going the way they want, or they're about to reveal certain bits of news or whatever, and they're like, and Fight Select have done the following up because obviously he's not exactly been on television to be able to clarify his stance either way. His last WWE match, I think, was like one of those Mexican super shows, so like not even like Raw or SmackDown or NXT or anything like that. And WWE sources did confirm to the outlet that his contract is coming up very soon, and it doesn't look like he will be staying with the company. It was implied to Fightful sources, this is a quote, the two sides have discussed an extension, but not confirmed as much. Santos's deal will be, this was an update to the original report, that Santos's deal will be up at midnight tonight, so he could be gone with WWE by the time you watch this, basically, barring any absolute major change of circumstances.
Could he appear on Title Tuesday?
I don't know how this would work. Yeah, releases and stuff. There's 30 and 60 day no competes, but then if it's just a release and you're done,
if you just shake hands and say we're not renewing it,
like they might go. If anything,
Don Callis family could do the new member.
I was just thinking that we need to stock the numbers up a little bit. There was an additional thing in the report saying it was more creative dissatisfaction rather than money. He was offered a raise. And then there was one final note, funny you mentioned about AEW. This was again from Fightful, quote, we were told to not be surprised to see him at NYCC this week, New York Comic Con?
Yes.
Is that right? Santos Escobar can be out and about and making towns and getting his own bookings and the like, so who knows where he'll show up.
Or you just want to meet and greet with, I don't know, the bloke who played something from a comic or something.
Yeah, one of them. You can't miss that. Like now that Will was
genuinely went blank on anyone from comic
books. Somebody from one of them books with all the pictures in.
I should watch more WhatCulture comics.
You really should.
Shout out to Ewan.
It's a great channel as well. Santos Escobar Several years within the WWE system, several years on NXT before he made it to the main roster, and then an up and down go of things. But yeah, it seems like he's going to find his fortunes elsewhere.
He ain't going to struggle, is he? Yeah, phenomenally talented individual. I think he's had a great showing in WWE, if it's been in sort of fits and starts, like you say. Loved him in NXT. Made a good transition with Legado del Fantasma, of course, to the main roster. I feel like he kind of hit his ceiling within WWE. Not saying that he wasn't capable, he just knew the company were never going to elevate him higher than he kind of was.
Yeah.
I mean, when he comes back eventually, that could change, obviously. This is the business that we work in. But yeah, really, really enjoyed watching his work, and I sense that he's not going to be short of offers. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if he shows up on AEW. Maybe not tonight, kind of a busy show. But going forward, like, he's sensational in between the ropes. I think he's a good promo too.
Yeah.
Any company would be lucky to have him.
I think you're right. He kind of almost feels like an AEW guy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's not to say.
Worst comes to the worst, he could go to TNA. He probably could be a world champion in TNA.
Yeah, another one of the old 10 cents on the dollar guy. If you want to hear more about some of them, check out the NXT preview ahead of NXT TNA Showdown. It's always called Showdown.
I've always said that,
on the WhatCulture Wrestling.
I've always said I love the Invasion font, and that is it.
Yeah, he was clear about that from the very beginning. He said that to me in 2001. So
you don't know me, but you will.
Yeah, and just let me tell you, I like that font.
I'm a font guy.
He ran up to me once.
2001, so I'd have been 12, 13.
Yeah, I was 16. This kid ran up to me. He was like,
Mr. Havlet.
Hey, old man, I like this font. What are you saying, little boy? You'll know one day. And then here we are now.
And then it was like rain outside, and I was like, so much for the summer, eh?
That's exactly what the kid said. Was it you? He also said, I'm really looking forward to the pay-per-view this weekend. I was like, I'm not. They're going to kill this WWE thing.
Speaking of departures, though, a cryptic tweet from Sean Ross Sepp came out following on from this Santos Escobar news.
Enunciating one's consonants.
Saying, we have seen Kira Cross, Jasmine Nix, and Santos Escobar.
I like this.
All pass on WWE offers in the last few months. There might be more coming too.
Was he writing this tweet with like a quill? Karen Cross was one of the many. Sorry, end that tweet again for me.
There might be more coming too.
Mystic Meg on the National Lottery, of course. It could be you.
There you go.
Those adverts are back where the finger says it's you.
Is it? Is the finger back?
Yeah, the finger's back.
In.
Finger back, it's like points at the winner, and then like this is the one with all the French. She's like, out of the way, you. I don't need pens anymore.
But look, we kind of glossed over a big story here. There may be more WWE departures coming soon. Not as a result of firings or anything like that, but people basically not accepting WWE's offers of renewal. Karrion Kross, of course, a big name that was mentioned a few months back. Jasmine Nix, a recent departure from NXT, who basically said, I got offered a new deal. It wasn't really what I was hoping for. I knew I'd been offered some other stuff whilst working for NXT that I couldn't do. I'm going to go and explore those. She's not completely closed the door on returning to WWE in the future, obviously, but she's exploring other options. Again, that's happening again with Santos Escobar. Look, we often say, not just WWE, wrestlers should be paid more money, but if the company's not going to budge, one of the ways you can change your circumstances is by going, well, I think I'm worth more than that. And I always say, back yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this year, probably more than ever, and we're going to talk about this in a second, when it is so apparent just how much money the company, maybe this year more than ever is a stupid statement because we've known this forever, I guess, but
definitely the numbers being thrown around right now.
People like applying the TKO thing to it as well, because this was a product of UFC long before there was a TKO agreement where like fighters saw no additional benefits for UFC's ticket prices and everything going up in the money.
Just sold for $4 billion.
Yeah. I think there was definitely a point, maybe 2019, 2020, when WWE was looking to warehouse talent to stop them going to AEW, where maybe not the money was flowing, but the contracts were, and there was a way to be seen as like, I'm going to stick with the market leader because this is a good deal. But it's a different time now, and if talent know that money is in this system and is not being paid to them, and believe they can go and get it somewhere else, more power to them. Yeah, I completely support it. It also, I think, I don't know anything, but it also, from the outside looking in, makes the free market for wrestlers look healthy. You know, if like wrestlers will talk to other wrestlers
Yeah.
and wrestlers will know what opportunities are available. And if they're being told, you know what, I think there's like a route for you to do this or do that, or the wrestlers themselves think, I can do that. It sort of paints the picture of a thriving scene, or like a sort of side of the business that can pay beyond the two majors. We will see, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case or not. But certainly, you know, you mentioned Jasmine Nix, Karen Cross. There will be others.
Yeah.
They won't be the first to have given it a go. And, you know, it just... I don't know, like we still feel like we're in a big rebuilding period for the US indies in particular.
Yeah.
But the more wrestlers that leave the majors and choose this route rather than flipping between AEW and WWE, the more that stands to rise.
Yeah, we're not going to sit here and speculate as to who that could be, obviously. No. I think it's weird that people online say, I think it could be this person next. It's like, that's their career in life, come on.
Jobs, innit? Jobs and livelihood.
But, like you say, yeah, however you feel about AEW's week-to-week product, it is a benefit having them around because of this. Because I used to hate the idea, certainly, of back in the day, people being like, here's your offer. And they're like, oh, can I have a bit more? And they go, no, where else are you going to go?
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's not, I know it's not just AEW, it's MLW, it's TNA to a certain extent, and all the other companies out there, and the indies, you know, like you mentioned. Karrion Kross recently, Matt Cardona is a shining example of what you can do outside of WWE and AEW, although he's flirted with both companies. Shotzi Blackheart recently, you know, has been getting more and more coverage. She's going great guns over in the indies. So, yeah, it is a relief that they have the power to do this, and more power to them, I say.
Yes.
Stop being such tight bastards, wrestling companies. Come on. They could basically say, how about instead of you giving me seats for my family, you give me the money that those seats cost in a yearly wage? Because chances are most of that would probably make more than what they're actually getting paid.
I am feeling the pinch with potentially 2 tickets I need to buy for my kids and I to go and see WWE Newcastle.
God, we need to sort that, don't we?
Yeah, it's a real problem.
I'm not one of his kids, by the way. That sounds weird.
No.
I'm going to go with them, obviously. Drag my wife and child.
But it's going to be like a second mortgage on the house to be able to afford it.
Merry Christmas, everyone. That's all you're getting.
That's your lot. And do you know who has pretty strong feelings about this?
Go on. Is it an arsehole who beat Simon Miller for his championship?
It only bloody is. It's Paul Walter Hauser again. He's sticking around in wrestling. It's really weird.
Look at me. I can win awards for acting and I can take titles off deserving individuals. Sorry.
No, I'm glad Wilborn was brave enough to say it, to be honest, because I feel exactly the same.
Fight me, Paul. Don't actually. I'm scared.
He might.
I've seen what he can do.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Paul Walter Hauser, for those of you that aren't aware who Paul Walter Hauser is or why we talk about him sometimes, he's an actor who loves the business, apparently. And wrestles and stuff. He's wrestled our friend and colleague Simon Miller for Progress, and he's done, I saw him work in an indie match against Sami Callihan, like a death match in the ECW arena a couple of years ago. It is weird that he's in it, but he is, and as a result now he kind of gets asked to talk a lot about wrestling and stuff like that, and fair enough too, because he's made a point to Inside the Ring podcast about the WWE ticket prices, referring to them as, quote, greedy. I mean, he ain't lying. He also talks about how, like, you know, the prices are, like, don't reflect well on WWE and these big companies. He pitches the idea that Netflix could offer, like, a 30% discount to the troops. All of this is off the top of his dome, but he's simply saying there's so much money flowing through wrestling that you could and you choose not to. He said, his quote was, "Be a real person, you dick." Like,
he's all right, this guy.
Yeah, WWE could choose to do more, but they don't. They choose not to because they actually don't give an S. Further to that, he did also mention within this podcast, it's worth going to listen to, but he's not the first, obviously, that might have been us, to suggest that you know, the indies or somebody should do something domestically as a bit of a united front when WWE go to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania in 2027. Again, for those of you who may not be aware, it's such a massive weekend for independent wrestling. A lot of those indies simply won't be able to, whether it's through resources or other reasons, go to Saudi Arabia to make WrestleMania weekend the traditional one giant festival of wrestling. So it does feel like it's opened a window for AEW or some other promotions to do something that weekend in 2027. Paul Walter Hauser seems to be at the front of that movement.
Absolutely, and it's a very valid point that he makes, you know. It's ridiculous, the pricing that you see nowadays, and I'm always astonished when I see fans clapping. Record attendances, that's all good stuff, but like
being told you're part of history and stuff. And
record gates when you're not in a building that they've, you know, like that they've not been in before because it's massive.
Yeah.
That they've basically just gone, we just doubled the price we charge for the seats this time, and therefore it's a record gate.
Yeah.
It does not affect you as long as your favourite wrestling company can keep their head above water, and I think WWE just about surviving on that front.
Might be fine, yeah.
Yeah, I think it should be called out on this sort of thing. There was that report a while back. Did you see this where one of the TKO Endeavour people were like, yeah, the problem that Vince McMahon had was he was being too good to families and charging them reasonable amounts. We're looking to get those prices nice and high. And like, the thing is, you look at the attendances right now, people are still paying them. And look, if you want to, pay for it and you enjoy the show, fair enough, I'm not going to criticise that. But yeah, like you say, from a WWE perspective, chances are with the money they make from Saudi, obviously, TV deals, sponsorships, everything bloody sponsored now in the ring, the tables, all that sort of thing, they probably could charge like $5 a seat and still be fine.
Yeah.
But that's not the way the world works. I realise that.
No, like live attendance, I think certainly has been one of the. It felt like for a long time, especially if you consider that they were still running like lots of house shows pre-pandemic, that like those crowds were never coming back and arena takes were never going to be where the money was. It was all in television. It was all with the deal with the Saudis and the like. It seems like TKO in particular, in line with this WWE boom, have identified these buildings and thought, no, it's time to start making serious money from that again.
Squeeze even more money out of it.
We went too long. Like, even when the crowds were big, they were high, but then the crowds, as we've said, have started to go a little bit soft, and then it's like, right, fill the gap by upping the price. And
it's not the way to do it.
Dave Meltzer,
go the opposite way.
I don't want to like mangle his words, but Dave Meltzer tweeted something. He said it's not a popular thing, but historically, this is it's his way of saying the market decides ultimately. Like, people have paid, and the companies have gone, great, they're paying, everything is fine. You know, they're not really listening to those people below the line or anybody that like couldn't afford to eat for 2 weeks if they want to buy a ticket or whatever. They'll listen to the people that can afford to pay and ultimately do, which is why we still get what we get. I don't see this changing anytime soon.
Sadly not, but it's a very valid point from Paul Watthauser, even if, as I mentioned, he screwed our friend Simon Miller, and Simon Miller will be getting that championship back, you mark my words.
By hook or by crook, we believe in Simon Miller.
Yeah.
Is that a guy?
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on anything we discussed in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. While you're at it, why not check out this video right here? I have no idea what it is, but I'm sure it's great.
It's class.